Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, I'm bringing you guys a Speedroid deck profile, and it says Post Supreme Darkness. If you guys want to see the combos for the deck, it's going to be in the top right corner. But otherwise, let's get started here with the new Speedroid Wing Synchron. This card is pretty powerful as you're able to use it to not only bring out a Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, but also pitch a Speedroid Spell or Trap from your deck to your grave. And the usual target for this will be Dupligate or our Clear Wing Wonder. Wonder here is able to reset your soft once per turns as you're able to banish your monster and then bring it back onto the board. And then we could pitch our Dupligate here to get another tuner onto the board. Second card that we have, a one of, is a Speedroid double Yoyo. So when this card is normal summon, you can target one level 3 or lower Speedroid monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This card is just powerful because it's a great safety net for your Hi-Speedroid rubber band shooter. Usually we're going to go for 7. Sometimes we need our Speedroid Ultra Hound or we need our Terrortop. You can just go into double Yoyo just in case. If you happen to get double Yoyo here, you can bring out the Terrortop, get its effect. Same thing with Taketomborg. If it gets pitched, you can bring that out, use its effect. Ultra Hound, you're not going to be able to, but if you have our Red Eye die in the graveyard, you're just going to be able to use it for pretty much what you wanted to achieve with it anyways. So this card is pretty insane just as a little safety net. Then we have one copy of Speedroid Fuki-Modoshi Piper. This is going to give you a way to kind of clean up your hand. You're going to be able to excavate a bunch of cards, choose one of them, and then continue your plays by getting the right card you need. But now we have 3 copies of Speedroid Terrortop. This card used to be under some restrictions, but now we can run it fully at 3. And so it's pretty powerful. It's not the decks that were able to abuse it before just isn't really that impactful anymore. So now we can just totally use this for Speedroids. It's able to special summon itself out and be a searcher. It's just an amazing card here. One copy of Daiko Duke, as you're able to use this to special summon a tuner monster from your graveyard. Has a lot of flexibility with that. 3 copies of CarTurbo. This card is able to special summon itself out, and it's a tuner monster. That's nice. And also you can get the 800 attack boost when it's in the graveyard, which is relevant at times for finishing your opponent. Then we have 2 copies of Speedroid Ultra Hound. You can pitch a Speedroid card from your deck to your graveyard. There's a lot of Speedroid cards that have effects in the graveyard. I already told you about the 2 traps here, but also our Daiko. Then we have 3 copies of Taketomborg. This card is able to tribute itself in order to special summon a Speedroid tuner for your deck. Depending on what you need, usually you can get what you need out of this card. And not only that, if you control wind monster, you can special summon it out. Then we have 3 copies of the new Speedroid Clackernel. This card is able to banish a Speedroid card from your graveyard and place 1 Speedroid pendulum monster from your deck in your pendulum zone. The target for this will be the Speedroid Wing Synchron. You just want to get the other one out and then pop them both, get your Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. And that's nice. And then you afterwards, because it's popped, you're able to special summon another copy of it. That's why you want to run the 3 copies, just to ensure that you're able to actually use this combo. Then we have 3 copies of Speedroid Marble Machine. When it's normal summon, you can add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. Just a great searcher. 1 copy of Red Eye Die. Red Eye dies, you just need the 1 copy here. You're going to be using it in the graveyard, recycle it. It's a soft once per turn, level modulation, just an amazing tuner. The ideal tuner for this deck. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Mulcharmy Fuwalos. This is great just because solid hand traps, great way to kind of punish your opponent here and also fix up your hand. 1 copy of Triple Attack Talent, because if your opponent tries to play during your turn, you can punish that a bit. 1 copy of Speedroid Scratch, 1 copy of Speedroid Scratch. Sometimes you need a Speedroid card in your graveyard in order to use your Clackernel, so this card can be useful in those instances. And also it's able to search out any Speedroid card or Speedroid monster. And also it's able to search out any Speedroid monster, so some amazing flexibility to that. Then we have 3 copies of Speed Recovery. So this card is definitely one that I'm going to have to test more to see really how many copies I want to have this at. I've seen some people that just completely ditch this card and some are still running at a 3. I really like this card. It was really integral back in the day, just for getting some combos out, as this card was a soft once per turn, and it was your safety net in case your opponent happened to stop one of your Speedroid monsters. You could bring back one of your soft ones per turns and continue playing. But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see it. But it's also able to bring a Speedroid monster in your graveyard back to your hand. Just an amazing card overall. 2 copies of Speedroid Wheel. You can get a bunch of things on the board. It doesn't really matter what you roll. Obviously there's certain combinations that are more ideal, but filling up your board with a bunch of monsters and then using them, either linking them away or synchro summoning if you're able to, is always good. 3 copies of Imperm, because it's Imperm. 1 copy of Duplicate. You can banish 1 wind monster from your graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So it's a bouncer, but normally you're going to be using this, pitch it to the graveyard, and then just activate its effect in order to bring itself out as a tuner. Then we have 1 copy of the new Speedroid Clear Wing Wonder. You can target cards your opponent controls up to a number of different monsters among the Wing Synchro monsters you control and pop them. And then from there, you can also banish it in order to bounce it, in order to flicker a card on the board, in order to reset its effect. Before I continue the video, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have a Patreon where you can help support the channel while also influencing the content I create. The link will be in the description, so make sure to check it out. And here in the extra deck, we have 1 copy of the new Crystal Clear Wing over Synchro Dragon. Once per turn, one other card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, there is nothing about it being a hard once per turn add as well. So you're going to actually be able to use our Speedroid Clearing Wonder to reset that, and you have 2 Omni Negates that you can use. And it gets some attack boost. Obviously, it's going to get a reset if you do decide to flicker that, so just keep that in mind. And if this face-up Synchro Summon card in its owner control leaves the field by an opponent, you can special summon 1 clearing monster from your extra deck, and that's great. Any clearing monster, just get it out. 1 copy of the Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. So this card, once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can activate this effect until the end of this turn. This face-up card becomes a Towers, and not only that, when a spell trap effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you destroy it, and then if this card happens to be sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 wind monster from your deck to your hand. Again, soft once per turn, so use your Clearing Wonder, abuse that. Then we have our Hi-Speedroid Kitedrake. This card is pretty fun to get out. Whenever you get an instance to get this out, it's always pretty fun. You can either use this to wipe the board or to negate all cards your opponent currently controls. It's a pretty powerful situational monster here. 2 copies of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This card is a monster negate. It gets an attack boost. It's pretty strong. 2 copies of Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. This card, you want to run 2 copies of it just because it's way easier to get out now, and you really do need it just because you want to go into your Crystal Clearwing over Synchro Dragon and your Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. 1 copy of the Stardust Charge Warrior in case you need a level 6 decent synchro monster, then there you go. 1 copy of Fagoida, it's able to special summon itself out for the graveyard. 1 copy of Chambara, this is a finisher card. 1 copy of the new Hi-Speedroid Glider 2. So this card is nice because you can just target a non-tuner level 7 or lower wind monster in your graveyard and special summon it out. Usually you're going to target your Clearwing here, and then you can Synchro Summon and go into your Crystal Clearwing over Synchro Dragon. Just a powerful, easy combo to do. And then we have 2 copies of Hi-Speedroid Cork Shooter. This card is still very powerful as it's able to bring special summon out its materials and also search out a Speedroid spell trap depending on what you need. Usually you're going to get out the materials, but now that we have some pendulum monsters, sometimes we need to search out the spells and traps, even if we may necessarily not want to. And here we have 2 copies of Hi-Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. Before, this was a choke point for the deck, and the nice thing is that you can still kind of play around even if they do happen to stop this card, and that's great, especially for me. I have this deck in real life, and it's very annoying when people stop this. It has some flexibility. It reminds me of the Glad Beast, another deck I own in real life. It's really annoying when your opponent would hit your Test Panther, and they're just kind of adding more to this deck and make it a lot more flexible. And in the side deck, I have cards for you to consider. So Wind, the Wind Chandler, is able to search out a Wind card. A lot of people still run this card. It's decent. You can discard it, add 1, but you have to discard itself and 1 other Wind monster in order to search out 1 other Wind. So you just have to keep that in mind. It's a kind of heavy cost, but it can search out whatever you may need. Also, the nice thing is Fuwalos is searchable using that. You know, use that as you will. Same thing with Drill and Lockbird in case you need it, or you can use them as discard material for Win as well. Then we have another copy of Den Daiko. Having an extra copy of Speedroid Den Daiko is nice because you can have some more recursion with the graveyard material. Just have to find space for it. Clearwing Fast Dragon. Usually I didn't get this out, and I'm okay with the extra copy of Clearwing, but you may need to have that extra copy just so that we have a target for the Rubber Band Shooter and just have 2 Clearwings anyways. And then the puzzle here, this is if you wanted to go into that crazy boss monster. Puzzle isn't really necessary anymore. Martial Metal Marcher. This card you can run if you'd like. You can special summon a tuner in your graveyard, and you can see it. I use it in one of the combos. It's still very solid, a Wind Synchro monster, but I decided to cut it completely. Another copy of Triple Tactic Talents, which could be a pretty decent card to put in here. Speedroid Wheel as well. It's solid. It's able to get a bunch of cards on the board, and so having that 3rd copy can be worth it as well. And then Called by the Grave. Hand traps suck. I just don't know what to get rid of to put it. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.